Alright guys, Ronnie here with eXp Realty, with Team BC as well. Here I got my man,
Willie Spicer.
Yes sir, introduce yourself, brother.
Willie Spicer, Regional Manager, Northern Division, Jersey Mortgage Company. Office is Parsippany, New Jersey.
Beautiful. Alright, well, let's talk about first how we did business together with the Rez family last year. They were highly recommended to you for like a family friend and stuff like that.
Family friend, yeah.
One of the most cleanest, fastest deals during this pandemic in regards to communication. He was on point, and if he wasn't able to do something, his team was on it right away. So if you can just talk about
Sure.
your process really quick, and then just
Sure. So we're a company that is all under one roof, meaning my loan partner / assistant, my loan opener, my processor, my underwriter, my closer, my post closer all sit in New Jersey. All are readily available via email and phone number. So when I am on the road doing some other sort of marketing activities, they're always available, and everyone has a role. Monica is my loan partner. She basically handles my inputting of loan, clerical stuff. Katie is our loan opener, sits at the front desk. She's doing the VOEs, the appraisals. Then we move into our processing department. Linda's my loan processor. She cleans up all the messes I make. If I'm missing a bank statement, a pay stub, sourcing a deposit, she handles all of that. Then we have a team of underwriters down in Cranford, based on the type of loan we're doing. FHA, conventional, we have different underwriters for each. So at that point, we'll get a loan approval, loan commitment letter, and then Maria is my loan closer, and she really is the best in the business and can really make the ride to close very smooth.
Beautiful. That's great, man. So I want to share a quick story with a lender that I dealt with. Don't want to put any names out there, but long story short, I had to go visit them all the way in New York. I don't want to say the specific city, just for not to disclaim. And when I went into their office, it was similar to this, but I felt immediately as soon as I walked in very enclosed. When I came in here, it was very inviting. Everybody was, chilling just in their own environment, doing what they're supposed to do. But it was very inviting. When I went in there, the reason why I visited the office, by the way, is because they weren't answering none of my emails, calls, text messages. It was horrible. They delayed the deal so much, and they weren't giving me any clear communication as to what was happening in regards to the delay of the whole process. So I want to share that with you and anybody watching, because it's very important to pick the right lender in the business, and to pick the right realtor who has the right connections in the business, and to trust your realtor if they tell you they have the right lender. Because I've been through this with buyers that it's just not a great process to go through. And it's just very important how he just was able to talk about his whole team just off the rip like that, because it shows how great of a connection he has. And again, I experienced working with him before, so it's definitely legit. Not saying this on camera just because he's here. It's because I appreciate when I'm working with someone who's purchasing their biggest asset almost in their in their entire life. We want to make sure that it's smooth, because there's things out of our control that happens that it's an emotional roller coaster, so we want to at least make sure the procedure is as smooth as possible. So regarding that, what are some things, let's just talk about some basic stuff real quick. What do buyers need in order to qualify for a home?
It's a great question. Well, first, thanks, because I want to go back to something you said earlier. Culture is so big. I've had a couple of different ventures, and I've grown companies before. With this office, I really wanted to create an atmosphere and a culture that is entertaining to me, that I want to come in every day, right, and strive to be better. I mean, we have COVID now, and a lot of people are working remote. I mean, I see my team pretty much every day. They can choose to work from home, but they choose to come in because we've created that atmosphere. So I really thank you for that, because that's very important to me and how I build.
Yes.
So now back to your question, buyers. First thing we want to do is we create an application. We can do that face to face, over the phone, via my website. We have any means of communication. You're going to fill out a simple form with basic information about you and any other borrowers that are going on the loan. In terms of documentation, we always want to see income, asset. When it's income, it's 30 days of pay stubs, 2 years of W-2s, 2 years of personal and or business tax returns if they are. In terms of assets, I want to see a quarterly statement or 2 monthly statements for all your asset accounts. Now I want to show that you have enough money not only for down payment and closing costs, but reserves as well, which strengthens your file. And lastly, we're going to have our purchase contract, your realtor and attorney information, as well as photo IDs. That's the basic start. So we'll run through that again. You got photo IDs, 30 days of pay stubs, 2 years of W-2s, personal and business tax returns for 2 years, and 2 monthly bank statements as well.
Awesome. Now, let's say they deliver all of that information to you. They got qualified for $500,000. The next step is obviously for myself or any realtor out there to find them a house. We find them a house. We're gonna accept an offer. After closing attorney review, can you just kind of run through the process? Yeah.
So first thing I want to do is at that point, I'm going to issue a pre-approval letter. The pre-approval letter will talk about in detail, but we'll see what their maximum buying power is. And then based on where the customer wants their monthly payment to be, the price range that Ronnie should be showing them. And then we fast forward, we get an accepted offer, we go through attorney review. At this point, I've introduced them to Monica from my team. They're working with Monica on, gathering pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, all of that information in. Now we have a deal, we turn it live. Came out of attorney review, and whether we have a 30, 45, or 60-day close date, discuss with the borrower rate locks, their rate lock options now and in the future. Then I can turn the deal live. Once I turn the deal live, Katie is my loan opener. She will get a disclosure package out, and then she will order the home appraisal as well as do the verification of employment. From that point, we do a direct submit, which means I submit directly to an underwriter. My underwriter then conditionally approves the loan. Obviously, we're pending the appraisal at that point. The customer is emailed a link to pay for their appraisal, and then the appraisal is ordered. The appraiser is going to reach out to Ronnie, schedule his inspection. Once the inspection is completed, about 3 to 5 days later, we'll receive a report back. Realtor and customer get a copy as well as us. We resubmit it to underwriting for a formal commitment. That's your approval letter, pending some conditions. At that point, Ronnie, the attorney, will get a copy as well as a customer of the conditioned approval letter, commitment letter. We'll gather those final conditions, bring them back to the underwriting department. The file will get cleared through underwriting, and then we're moving to our closing department. Maria's introduced. She'll have the title insurance, homeowner's insurance, attorney's information. They work on the CD, the closing disclosure. We'll issue a copy to the customer. Once they acknowledge, we have a 3-day period, then we can close on the loan. The day before the loan, the monies is wired over to the attorney/title company, as well as closing disclosures emailed to them. They'll draw up the closing docs, and then we have a smooth closing the next day.
Beautiful. So say that backwards. So obviously there's a lot in the process that the loan officer does, and he has a whole team of it. So that is why it is very important to not only feel comfortable with your realtor, but also get in communication with your lender, and any questions in regards to the mortgage specifically. If you like, you can ask the realtor primarily. That's not a problem, but just know they are they are the experts in this process. The realtor, they're not licensed to know or work in this field. The lenders are, and they have a whole team. That is why it is also very important to ask them the questions, because in this specific department or situation, they definitely know more than realtors about these questions. There's a lot of realtors that ask me, a lot of buyers that ask me questions about closing costs and this and that, the third, and this is great. I love that they trust me, but I always try to answer the question very generally, and I always dish them out to the lender just to make sure everything is clear and concise from all parties. So, hey, that's awesome, man. I mean, is there anything else that you want to include before we cut this off?
I think the most important thing, is one, be pre-approved. Don't waste the realtor's time, money, and energy. If you can't financially pay for this home, there's zero reason to run around. So get pre-approved first, and always work with a realtor. It's very hard to go out there and do what they do and negotiate a deal. So make sure you pick up the phone and call your realtors.
Absolutely. I want to emphasize on that because, for example, it was an opportunity that presented itself and I just ran with it. But I ran into a buyer that was looking at a home that I was working with the seller. He came literally out of left field. I'm showing him the house. Everything happened so quick. Next thing you know, I realized that he's not even pre-approved, and he said his budget is X amount of dollars. And I'm asking him, how do you know what your budget is if you never even talked to a lender or a bank before? So it's like going shopping to a mall and having a credit card and not knowing the limit. How are you going to know when to stop? How are you going to know where to start? It absolutely doesn't make sense. If you don't want a lender to pre-approve you just because you think they're gonna danger your credit, or you don't want to go through that hassle. If you think about it, the main reason you're purchasing this house or you're using the lender is for them to help you throughout this process. So be open-minded when it comes to getting pre-approved and shopping with a pre-approval versus not. So that's super important. But I want to thank you, Willie, for your time.
Pleasure.
It's awesome just being here, being introduced to your team. This team is very, very special. I felt it from day one. So if you guys have any other questions, I'm gonna leave all your information below. And there you go, Ronnie out.